Alright, today's gonna be some Civic love. So, this right here is a 2000 Honda Civic. Right now my issue has to do with the window crank. This is a manual window. But when you go to do anything, nothing happens. She broke. I was going to roll the window up, and this window is very hard to roll up. Same with the passenger side. It takes a lot of effort to push these things up. And I guess after doing that for a while, the motherfucker finally snapped. So, I guess we're going to take this thing apart and see what's going on inside. So we got a screw in here that I took out, so that's a Phillips. To get this door handle free, you're going to have to move it forward because there's a clip here. So if you can get that clip to come out, then the whole thing will come out. So, depending on what kind of power accessories you have, you'll probably have to remove those connectors, however the heck they come off. This is just a simple little push button that you squeeze. Okay, there we go. So that's free, and if you want, you can remove this. And if you want to pull it out all the way, you pop this clip off and pull, and that'll remove it, but we'll see if we can't slide it in first. For the window crank, there's a clip that holds it on, this guy. So you're gonna have to take this out. I don't know how to do that properly. I ended up breaking the crank straight off. I pulled on it just a little bit and the thing just snapped right off. But yeah. So if you can figure this out, there's a piece of plastic in there, and then the clip sits between that and the other piece. So this was sitting in here, and then we had this. So if you can pull this out, then all this will come out. There's a speaker cover down here that you can gently pry out with a flathead or something like that, and it'll come out. I think that the speaker might have to get removed. I don't know. I don't see any other screws around, unless there's some more hidden something or others. Okay, there's a little electrical connector that comes off the speaker. You just squeeze the two things together and pull out. So here's the stock speaker here. It's just got the little electrical connector. So, speaker's out. Okay, there was 3 more screws on the outside. 1, 2, and 3. Those are some bigger Phillips. So now this part seems to be a little more loose. Okay, you got a couple Christmas trees on this side. You kind of got to pull it hard. I started at the top and worked my way down and finally got this one to open up. You got one down there. And then you got one here. Aha, I found the missing piece. This comes off. Just kind of pry it up a little bit and then you should be able to take it off. It's not on there too tight. I thought that there was a connection there, so we got one here, one there, and then I think the skin should be able to pull off. Yep, that'll do it. Now she's all free. So what you want to do is lift up to get off of the this lip over here. And then all we gotta do is squeeze this through. I'm wondering if I can rotate it and push it in. And we should have our skin off. Okay, so our skin's off. A little bit of wiggling, you can get this to remove. But if you want, you can take off that clip instead. You just have to be able to get it to connect later. So, here's everything inside the door. So now, I guess we gotta figure out what's going on with our window regulator and what snapped and what we can do. We might be able to just pick the window up. Okay, cool. So, for emergency, we can just pick this damn thing up and we're done. I see a cable floating around here. It might be for something. Okay, I guess it wasn't that easy. I was gonna say, hey, look at that. Here's manual windows for you, right? You can pick it back up, but the problem is it falls back down. I think something inside the regulator itself snapped, so that's just got 3 10mm bolts around the outside of it. It comes right out. Alright, It looks like all the action happens in this. The window will have to be up in order to push this out far enough to get it through this hole. And comes right out. It's just like literally floating in there. So it's got a big plastic case with bolts, I guess, that are just kind of sandwiched in there. It doesn't look like this is easily serviceable. The bolts are kind of sandwiched in there. We had a flat spot in there to hold that in there. So it looks like something inside this that'll do. Hickey broke. So RIP window regulator, I guess. I don't think this is going to be a quick fix. We're probably going to have to take the whole thing out and just replace it. You can buy the entire assembly online for about 40 bucks or something like that. Probably also pick one up at the Junkyard if you can find one that works well. So yeah, I guess we're just going to remove, I think it is these two bolts and those two bolts, and then we should have a whole system that comes out. So let's see what we find. Okay, pro tip. When you remove all four of those bolts, your glass is just free to go willy-nilly wherever the hell you want. And it'll easily fall off the tracks, and it'll be a pain in the ass to put back. But there's also two more bolts once you take out those main four. If you come down here on these tracks, you'll see that there's two bolts over here. You might want to take them out first. You'll notice there's two holes here, one on the left, one on the right. They should line up with those two bolts, so you move the window up about a quarter of the way, and you should be able to access them bolts and take them out. And then, you know, things are things. But like I said, when you do that, your window is free to move around. So you better make sure that your glass isn't sitting on something it should be. This is actually a really good time to have a good suction cup, so you can have something to hold on to. So yeah, I wouldn't remove the window regulator until you have a new one to replace it with, because otherwise your glass is just going to be floating around in your door, and that's no good. So yeah. So once you remove those last two bolts and pull this whole system out, there you have a broken window regulator. Cool. Okay, so that's the whole system right there. As for removing the window, I ended up putting the suction cup on the outside of it, and then you can pull it forward and angle it and bring it out. You should be able to figure it out, but it's only held on down there, so there you go. That's a window. So you have to replace a window. This is how you do that too. So unbolt it from the regulator and slide it out. So let's go see if the Junkyard has anything. Something cool for an emergency. You can just screw this in and your door will still actuate. So we can still drive this thing. Awesome. So here we are out at the Junkyard. Got ourselves a Civic already up on a stand and everything. And check it out. Door panel's already been removed. Man, they are helping us out big time. So as long as everything moves and works, we're going to take some bolts out and go to town. Pro tip, you don't have to take these nuts off all the way. Just loosen them, rotate them about a couple degrees, and then you can push the whole thing through with the nut still attached. There we go. Within minutes, I already got this thing set up. Holy crap, that was quick. It was easier to take these top bolts out first, and then worry about these ones and this, and you just rotate it, pop it out. So yeah, I was right. This, I guess, something snapped and exploded, and everything just went hoopy-doopy everywhere. I tested this, and it works good, so cool. I don't know what we're going to do about a window crank, but we're getting somewhere. Nifty. Well, putting these side by side, you can kind of see what happened. So this is the old one right here, and it just kind of went kablooey. I don't know, something fell apart. So cables all just everywhere. This one, it's all together, it's nice and tight. All these spring things are together, so yeah, I don't know what the hell happened, but if your thing looks like this, it's probably fucked. Okay, so now we gotta put our glass back in. You gotta put the regulator in first, so put it in, rotate it, and these are just loosely tight for now. And then we can attach the stuff in the back. I got the window put in. You're gonna put that in from the outside. So you're gonna go in, put this corner in first, and then try to line this corner up, and you can push it up or down or wherever the hell you need it. Got it held up with a suction cup. So now all we gotta do is screw everything back together. So we have to get our regulator up at the right height to bolt the window down, and also bolt the slide, like the track, to the door. So, you know, a little bit of fiddly farting around, but after that we're pretty much done. We're going to loosely attach the bolts. The gray one went in the top left. That one's tighter for some reason. And then you just move your regulator until this back piece lines up with your window. So you just turn the handle and get it to line up. And you got an access hole on both sides. If you can't reach it up top, there's two down at the bottom if you want to drop the window all the way down. But this one, I don't know, we'll see. Okay, put your window all the way up into the topmost position. Make sure that it's square because it can wiggle back and forth a little bit. And then tighten everything down. So you got two bolts, and then your bolts for the window. So there you go. Look at that. The only thing I notice is that the back can like tilt in and out a little bit, so I guess make sure that's where it is. On mine, it's always been a pain in the ass to roll it up. And after about halfway up, then it gets a little easier. So I don't know if that has something to do with these other tracks, if something's something, or I don't know what, but that's always been an issue for this one. I don't know what else has to be adjusted to get that to be smooth. But there we go. So that's a window regulator and all that good stuff. So now we can put a skin back on and call it a day. Okay, next step is to wiggle the skin through this door handle. If you can't get this, if it's a pain in the ass, I went through here first, so I went in and then kind of inched my way out to get this to pop out. If you really can't do it, you can always just take that metal thing off and then reconnect it inside. Just make sure you can get a hold of that. Besides that, the only other thing is you got to make sure that your lock lines up properly, so make sure that that's sitting where it should be so you can push it through, and make sure your speaker connector is sticking out. You don't want it to get caught underneath. So since everybody's in there, you can push it all in there, make sure all the Christmas trees snap into place, and then we can start bolting everything in. This, forget how this locks in, it'll just kind of push in there. Once it's in there, good. And then just put all the screws in. We got 2 screws for the handle, we got 1 screw here, we got 3 screws to hold the speaker in, and another 3 screws to hold that little unit into the door. And then we can put our door handle on, or our window crank on with that little clip, and we're solid. Okay, all our screws are in. Take our cover piece here. Okay. Handle's in there good. Speaker cover. Okay, so first piece, this little flat thing. Push that in there like so. Now, if you're a little anal about where your window crank sits, you want to make sure your window is all the way up, and then place this in the position where you want it. So I like mine to sit right about there when it's fully up. And now the tricky part is putting this clip in. And I'm not quite sure how we're going to do this. I don't know if I need to put the clip on a little bit first and then figure out a way to push it in there. What I'm hoping is that you can just jam this thing on and it'll just go in place. So the clip sits in there like that. So that's what that opening's for, so you can grab it. So if we put that there, put this at the angle we want it. Oh, not bad. That's actually rather easy. Cool. Cool. And there you go. Now we have ourselves a replaced window regulator and a window that works again. All right. Get some Windex, clean up that window, and you're golden. That's a job well done. Cool. Okay. Well, that's how you replace a window regulator or your main glass, then take off the door skin, door panel, whatever the hell you like to call it, on a 6th gen Civic. This is a 2000, but they should all be the same. Alright, cool. Hope you enjoyed. Okay, so just do a little digging. If you do want to take this thing apart, all you gotta do is get yourself a hammer and beat it through these little things, because they're just held in with that. You give it a quick smack and the bolt pops right out. So inside of this we've got some stuff. I don't know what it all does, but it looks like you get a spinny bit. It's under a bit of friction. I don't know. Oh, it looks like there might be a spring thing in there. I don't know. Something. Some kind of wound spring. And then we have this, which it looks like there's lots of pulley things on here. Maybe some teeth that interface with something. Maybe that's what happened. Is that this thing sits on here, and what happened is it snapped. So the part that does this snapped from this. So I don't know, we got a thing in here, and we got a thing in here, and I guess they're all connected, and it winds up one way or winds up the other. So it doesn't move it per se, it just kind of lets one side out more or lets the other side out. Well, the thing's broken either way, so fuck it, man. There's our shot. At least it's strong.